Um, Welcome to the Unstuck Your Sales series. I am your host, Brittany Young, and today I want to talk about how we anxiously attach to sales calls. Not only sales calls, but prospects during the sales calls. I want to talk about this because you may not even notice that you're pushing away certain people who want to work with you. And ways that you unknowingly do in your current sales approach. So don't worry. I understand. I've been there. I was actually taught a certain method. I was laughing with a client about this today about how, I was taught certain ways of selling, like push on the pain or create a scenario and then meditate on it together during a sales process. Pretty hilarious. All the traditional ways of sales you were probably taught, they probably feel a little pushy, maybe cringy, maybe uncomfortable. So, the approach that I like taking with my clients is creating a center of permission that is an approachable way of selling, meaning we have a willingness to come to a mutual agreement between you and the client, and you are providing value to them. They are agreeing with you, what we like to call micro commitments throughout the sales process. And we're creating permission. They're saying yes, they're loving what you're, offering to them, and they appreciate it. And there's a lot of willingness and a lot of yeses in the process. So while you're providing that value, the way the permission process, my signature method, the way it works is, we're going to look at the emotions of your prospects or clients that you're engaging with. And we're also going to take a look at your emotional awareness and how that might be showing up within you on sales calls. And today, I want to give you different scenarios of maybe how you show up on calls right now could be affecting whether or not people are saying yes. So we'll spend some time on that. And, one of the things that I find that holds a lot of people back and ties them to the outcome is controlling the conversation. We've all been taught a version of this, of how to control the conversation. And I want to spend some time deconstructing this a little bit and helping you understand a different way of approaching this within your sales process. I don't want you to feel like you're doing something wrong or to stress you out. But we also don't want to be bringing any tension into the call between you and your prospect because you could be really like, I need this sale, and like really gripping on. And that is what pushes your people away. So we want to avoid that, right? Now, I call the process that I use the permission process for a reason. Permission is about free will, allowing the other person to make a clear decision on whether or not they are a yes or a no. In my world, I tend to tell clients as well as prospects there are no maybes. It's either a hell yeah or hell no, right? So the approach that I take isn't pushy. We're not forcing anybody into a sale, but it's about diffusing tension and bringing you closer to the client rather than pushing them away. So, how do you do this? Number one, you need to become aware of your own emotions. Number two, we are regulating our emotions before a sales call so you can detach from the outcome of the sale or even the call Not so much that you lean away and you're like, oh, this is kind of boring me, you know? You're actually actively listening and giving your perspective back to that person, but you are not attached to their emotions or the story maybe that they are giving you. And then lastly, you have a very meaningful conversation with that prospect. It involves ease, confidence, and conviction on your part, whether or not they buy from you. So when you decide that I am going to learn how to become emotionally aware of how I show up on sales calls, that's going to shift not only your confidence, but it's going to shift your conversion rate because you're not gripping on for dear life, praying, hoping, wishing. Even though you might need the sale, you are not giving off that energy of, I have to do this or else. Does that make sense? The second thing is when we shift our emotional state and we start to regulate our emotions, we're not attached to what the other person's story might be. So they may come into the call and tell you things like, I'm ready, but my spouse is not. I want to do this, but not yet. They throw a bunch of objections at you, and you don't feed into that story, but you get really curious with them on, diffusing that story and right then and there working through that objection with them rather than waiting to the end of a sales call to diffuse any objections. So, um, Avery's in here. When we decide to really focus in on our emotional intelligence and our emotional awareness, this creates confidence on a sales call and it's going to lead to higher conversion rates. I can tell you honestly, this is key for service-based CEOs that I work with who are, hitting 50K months consistently, driving revenue up to 100 million to the bottom line, adding $1 million clients, adding $500,000 clients, even signing 3 clients in a week. It's about that confidence behind the questions that you're asking and the sales process that I get to create with them, which is very unique to them in their business. So, a little bit about, that is when I'm working with you, we curate a customized sales plan together. What does that mean? Everybody has a very unique way of doing business. But how do you stand out when you're selling, even when you're marketing? You do that by creating a very unique process to you. So, what I help with my clients is creating a very unique sales methodology, process, approach, so they can present that on the sales call. And they're asking questions, based on their methodology because they already know how they're going to help their clients. And we funnel that into sales process and all of how they are able to get their clients results. So for instance, yesterday, I helped a client create, and her process now is called EVA process. Excellence, value, and attention. And those are the 3 things that she's going to be bringing to the table when she's on sales calls and then presenting to her clients based on the results that she's getting them. Thank you for that. um, and then we're also, okay, developing your actual sales questions. What are you asking ideal clients when you're getting on the call with them? What's your cadence? What's your tone? What kind of language are you using? Do you speed up? Do you slow down? We're doing all of these beautiful things so that you can deeply connect to the prospect when you're speaking directly to them on a call and you're adding value through your process. So, I have a little exercise that I want you all to practice. Okay. I did this morning with a client, and she's about to sign a $1 million client as a financial advisor. And so we practiced this morning, and it was really interesting to see what came up. So I had her, place her hand on her heart, close her eyes, get her feet grounded on the floor, a little bit of somatic experiencing. And we noticed what was the emotion that was coming up. And so when she placed her hand on her heart, she said, doubt. And so doubt showed up, and doubt had a full story behind it. It told her she wasn't good enough, she was lazy, she wasn't going to sign these clients, nobody wanted to work with her going forward. Her business was a fluke. And mind you, she signed a $500,000 client last week. This is the client that I'm doing the masterclass off of. And so self-doubt comes up, and we talk to it and we allow it to express itself. And I said, okay, where is it sitting in the body? And she said, it's sitting in my belly, but my confidence is all the way up here. It's in my throat. I can feel it. So what we worked on was actually shifting confidence to be down into the belly, into the gut, which is a visceral response. Okay. And then we wanted to get that doubt out and release it and allow it to go on its way. So here's the small exercise that you can do at home for yourself. Okay. So place your hand on your heart and close your eyes. And you're just going to listen into your body. This thing is going to try to activate and tell you all kinds of things. Dinner's on fire. You had a load of laundry to do, all your tasks, or maybe it is telling you you're failing, you're not good enough, what have you. So, what I like to say is, can you bring whatever's going on up here into the heart space? Does the heart feel the same? So, we're just going to check in and see what's going on. You want to come say hi to everybody else? Mommy's doing a call. So maybe you're experiencing anxiety, rigidity, maybe you're angry, maybe you're anxious. I want you to feel that emotion. And maybe somewhere in your body is tensing up. And so we're gonna check in with that emotion, like, where is it? Is it in your throat? Is it in your back, your neck? Where in your body is it? And then what is that story that's behind that emotion? And just very clear, I want to make this very clear that there are no positive or negative emotions, although you will hear that there are positive and negative emotions from a lot of people. Emotions are emotions. They come and they go. Okay. They're not good or bad. Just like food doesn't know if it's good or bad for your body. The same with the emotion. However, if you dwell on that emotion for too long, it will sit in your body and then create possibly negative effects. or euphoric effects, depending on, you know, where in the body it's sitting and what's the story behind it. So as we're doing this, we're trying to figure out, is there an emotion that's coming up? What's that story? Where is it identified in the body? How's it making you currently feel? And then we want to invite how you would like to be experiencing your emotions. Okay. So, would you like to feel gratitude? Would you like to feel happiness, joy, relief? And see if that other story or emotion is still there. And what I had my client do this morning was we sat in gratitude and I asked her to picture these clients that were sitting across from her desk saying yes, really feeling their excitedness of saying yes to her. And then picturing in her room, in a circle, all of the clients that she has helped over the years of being in business. And what she described was there was a packed office, people out the door, people all around her. And what happened was all of these people started then giving positive feedback to the prospects that she was about to sign as clients. And they were saying, welcome to the family. We're so excited that you're here. We can't wait to, get to know you. You have a wonderful advisor. You have a beautiful leader. This is going to be the best experience. And this is my client speaking on behalf of the people that she's going to sign tomorrow. So we're actively listening and then we're mirroring back the story, the news story, back to ourselves and out loud. We're doing this. And what we want to notice is how this then shows up onto sales calls. So if somebody comes into your world and they're a little anxious or, they're telling you literally everything about them, it's happened to me. They're sharing every little detail, every little thing about, their life and what's going on. And you simply pause and ask them, I'm curious, what truly brought you to this call today? And see if they give you an emotional response. Ask them, okay, how do these current emotions that you're feeling, how are they showing up in your business? Are they affecting you personally? How are they affecting you? Can you start to become more aware of your emotions, said prospect? And, I like doing the somatic work on sales calls with a lot of people because it gets them into a state of awareness right off the bat. And then I get into my sales calls questions. And I do that because I don't want to bring my emotions into the call, which then could affect the prospect or client, and they're going to be able to pick up on that. So I do this mini exercise for myself, visualization, visualizing what it would look like to work with this person. And then I bring that into the call and I ask them basically what I'm asking myself, you know, um, how are you feeling right now? Like what's coming up for you? Can you identify what's coming up for you? Do you know how to shift how you're feeling? What would that look like when it comes to shifting that in your sales process? Oftentimes, you know, when we are bringing our emotions to calls, not only do prospects pick up on that, but they don't want to be real with you. They don't want to answer your questions because you're making it about you without even knowing it. And so you're sabotaging the call. Whereas if you do a small somatic experience of gratitude or even figuring out what that other story, negative emotion could be, that anxious attachment for the call, where is that in your body? How's that showing up? What's going on? If you work through that before your sales calls, chances are when you show up, you're feeling good and women feel good and then they do good. And so we can easily learn how to detach from a sale because we've released our emotions, right? So we're showing up as if it were a conversation with a friend and coming from a place of neutrality. Now, I know that this might be, a new approach or a different approach for creating a really useful sales experience. And maybe you've implemented some of these sales strategies in the past that have worked for you. But this is why I personally use and create the permission process because sales and money are emotional. So it's important that we build an emotional connection with ourselves first before building it with the audience. Okay. And this small little exercise, just the tip of the iceberg. And I'm actually going to be teaching this more in depth on October 11th during the $500,000 conversation mini class. And so we're going to go into more areas about how you show up to the call, some different approaches to take, what to say. And, if you want to learn the permission process, that's a really good place to be, is within that masterclass. I covered a small portion of it today. The class is going to be a really cool training. So we're going to do some somatic experience work, combine that with learning how to create your own sales process, your very own unique process, bringing that into the call. And then I'm going to teach you, probably if we have time, some of the permission process, and permission-based selling will be throughout the actual training as well. So if you enjoyed this small little training today, we're going to dive deeper into this, like I said, on the 11th of October, 12 p.m. Central. And the class is called the $500,000 Conversation. I will drop it for you so you have it in the comments. And, it is all about you creating your own unique process while we're on that call. I have some really fun exercises planned that we're going to do together. If you can't make it live, there will be a replay, so no worries there. And the whole premise, why I created this class is to help you increase your conversion rate without having to buy leads, without having to consistently feel like you have to always go and pull new leads from many different platforms, etc. And I'm going to teach you my confidence catalyst method. So that's going to help you really land into a state of conviction and confidence when you're on sales calls. And this exercise is done in 10 minutes or less. So that's what I've got for you all today. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to comment on this video. If you watched me live, hashtag live, I always forget to say that. If you watch the replay, hashtag replay. Always love seeing who catches these in the middle of the afternoon. And as always, I love being able to serve you in this way. My name is Brittany Young. Thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon.